In a world where two souls bloom like fleeting cherry blossoms, where sparkling lights paint a kaleidoscope of emotions, and where love transcends expectations, join us as we recap this soul-touching anime. Step into a realm reminiscent of Japan's Meiji and Taisho periods, where ancient beauty and Western influences intertwine. Meet Mio Saemori, born into a noble family and forced into servitude by a cruel stepmother. As her path crosses with the enigmatic Commander Kyoka Kudo, watch how their destinies converge, challenging their notions of love and happiness. This is the captivating story that unfolds before us, a tale of unexpected connections and the pursuit of true love. But before we delve into the story, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. In a Japanese household, Mio Saemori, the daughter of Shinichi and now-dead Sumi Saemori, is being scolded by Kaya Saemori, her stepsister, and by Kanoko Saemori, who is Shinichi's second wife. Mio leaves the room as Minoru Tatsuishi arrives to discuss a marriage offer for his son Koji, who is a warm-hearted fellow of Kaya. This visibly upsets Mio, but Shinichi tells her that she'll marry Kyoka Kudo instead. He tells her to gather her items because she'll be heading to Kudo's place tomorrow. Later, Mio visits her dead mother's cherry tree to say her last goodbye. Koji apologizes to Mio for this situation, but Mio tells him that she doesn't resent him for anything. The next day, Mio arrives at Kyoka's house and meets the family's servant Yuri and Kyoka. Upon looking at him, Mio feels her life might be taking a turn for the better. Afterward, Mio remembers when she was just a child, Shinichi tested if she was born with abilities or not. Turns out that Kaya was able to see the spirits while Mio could not. Later in the morning, she prepares breakfast for Kyoka, even though Yuri says that it is her job. Seeing Mio not eating breakfast, Kyoka accuses her of poisoning the food and leaves without eating. Kyoka and his aide, Yoshiro Goto, welcome the new special anti-grotesquerie unit recruits. They explain that grotesqueries or evil spirits have lived in their world for a long time and are harmful. Therefore, the recruits must use their supernatural abilities to stop these demons. Later, in Kyoka's office, he remembers Yuri telling Kyoka not to think poorly of Mio. At the same time, Koji offers to lend Kaya a hand in moving her things to Mio's old room. In Mio's small room, Koji says he still holds Mio close to his heart and wishes to do something better for her. In the evening, Kyoka apologizes to Mio and says that she is in charge of making breakfast the next day. Later, while taking a bath, Mio remembers telling her maid Hana that her mother's heirlooms are missing. Mio confronts Kanoko, but she beats her up and locks her away as punishment. Mio wonders what happened to Hana after that day. In the morning, Yuri arrives and assists Mio with the breakfast. Kyoka compliments Mio on her cooking, resulting in her being driven to tears. Meanwhile, Minoru yells at Shinichi for not fulfilling his deal regarding Mio marrying Kazushi Tatsuishi, revealing that Mio was supposed to be given to the Tatsuishi family and not to the Kudo family. The next day, Kyoka invites Mio to accompany him to the market. They first visit his workplace to park his car where they meet Yoshido. On the other hand, Shinichi says Kyoka will probably not marry her as Mio does not have any special abilities and so Minoru can have her afterwards. Kaya is annoyed that Shinichi is still talking about Mio and that her husband Koji still has feelings for Mio. Meanwhile, Kyoka and Mio visit a cloth shop where the owner named Kiko welcomes them. Kyoka recalls Yuri telling him how Mio mends her clothes, so he asks Keiko to make a new kimono for Mio. Later during a meal, Mio wonders what Kyoka will think of her when he discovers she doesn't have powers. They return home and Kyoka places a gift in front of Mio's room. Mio opens it and sees a column inside, making her tear up. Later, an investigator presents Kyoka with intel, revealing abusive treatment of Mio and confirming that she doesn't possess any abilities. Furthermore, the investigator says that Mio's birth mother is Sumi Yusuba, a direct descendant of the infamous Yusuba family, shocking Kyoka. The Yusuba family is a mystery as they possess the supernatural ability to interfere with a person's mind and are impossible to locate. As Kyoka leaves the station, he detects a group of spirits near him and uses fire to burn them all, wondering who sent them to spy on him. Mio dreams of her mother asking Shinichi not to abandon Mio, but he refuses, resulting in Sumi telling Mio that things will be different for her in the future. Later, together with Yuri, Mio decides to make Kyoka a cord and gift it to him. Mio and Yuri visit a shop to choose a braid that'll suit Kyoka, and after that, Yuri asks Mio to stay put until she returns from buying salt. Suddenly, Mio bumps into Kaya and Koji. Meanwhile, Kyoka visits Shinichi and tells him that he wants to make his engagement with Mio official. However, he must apologize to her face-to-face. At the same time, Kaya makes fun of Mio, but soon Yuri returns, and they go back home. Later, Mio finishes Kyoka's gift and is visited by Hana. She tells Mio that she's married now and has a child. She also reveals that Kyoka sent her a letter which led her to come here, revealing that Kyoka knows everything about Mio now. Mio thanks Hana for stopping by and assisting her. She later thanks Kyoka and presents him with the braid. Kyoka tells Mio that he wants her to be with him forever as we see the spirits floating above them. Minoru sits in his office, furious that Mio is doing well with Kyoka. He later informs Kaya that Mio is doing exceptionally well with Kyoka, making her jealous. Kaya decides to go to her father to end Mio's relationship, but he refuses to do that. Remembering her mother's words about always trying to outshine Mio, Kaya meets Koji and asks if he would prefer to be engaged to Mio instead. Mio has a strange dream again where she sees spirits advancing toward her. Sensing something is wrong, Kyoka checks on her and detects remnants of an ability. The following day, Koji notices some suspicious men in the back alley of the Tatsushi estate and realizes that something bad is going on. So he visits his father's office and finds Kaya there, who explains they are going to exchange fiancés with Mio, but Koji insists that it won't happen. After Kaya's departure, Koji becomes furious at his father, but he easily overpowers him. Fortunately, Kazushi arrives and frees Koji. Mio prepares lunch for Kyoka and delivers it to Kyoka at the station. However, as they leave, a car stops beside them and kidnaps Mio. Yuri rushes back to inform Kyoka about the kidnapping. Kyoka is not sure what to do, but Koji arrives, and they head for the Saimori estate to save Mio. There, Kanoko orders Mio to reject Kyoka's marriage proposal. Despite their threats, Mio stands her ground and tells them that she'll become Kyoka's wife. Meanwhile, Kyoka uses a lightning strike to destroy the gate of the house and demands Shinichi to hand over Mio, but Minoru tells him that Mio won't be returning to his house anymore. Since they won't tell him where she is, Kyoka starts fighting them and knocks them out. Koji tells Kyoka that they likely put Mio in the storehouse. Kyoka comes to Mio's aid as she falls unconscious and leaves with her in his arms. Somewhere else, an elderly man is infuriated with Minoru's failure, and a young man asks his permission to help him. Mio awakens inside Kyoka's home, and Kyoka comforts her, telling her that he's happy she's okay. Later, Mio asks Kyoka to take her to the Burns Saimori estate. He explains that Shinichi and Kanoko are moving to the countryside, and Kazushi will now lead the Tatsushi family with Kaya as their servant. Later, Koji talks to Mio in private and tells her that he plans to leave the imperial capital to become stronger and promises to meet her again. Later in their home, Mio meets Kyoka's older sister, Hazuki Kudo. In a flashback, Mio tells Kyoka she wants to become a lady and plans to find a teacher. Kyoka tells her that he'll have someone assist her, and that is why Hazuki is here. Hazuki tells Mio she had an unsuccessful marriage but has experience with being a lady. She tells Mio that it's best for her to establish a goal to improve herself and tells her about an upcoming party in 2 months. In the night, some men are trying to form a barrier, but a few mythical entities ruin their plan. The next day, Kyoka meets General Masashi Hokkaido, who tells him that they have a meeting with Prince Takahito regarding a tomb break-in last night, which resulted in the burial grounds opening. Burial grounds is a place where those who had supernatural abilities are buried and grotesqueries are sealed. Along with Kazushi, they visit Prince Takahito, who shares his divine revelation that a battle is coming soon. He also tells Kyoka that things will get difficult for Mio in the future. At home, Hazuki helps Mio with her lady training, from helping her smile to walking in a dress. Later, Arata Tsurugi, an envoy from the Imperial Household Ministry, arrives at the station. He says that the ministry is racing to retrieve the evil spirit since the burial ground has been opened. Kyoka says he would be happy to aid the ministry with their needs. So Kyoka, Yoshido, and the others visit the burial grounds where they retrieve some of the men. Kazushi attempts to remove a man's curse, but he is surprised by the curse's overwhelming strength. On the other hand, Arata and Yoshiro Yusupa discuss the awakening happening soon and how Arata is Mio's sworn protector. Later, Mio, Yuri, and Hazuki are traveling through town when Mio faints, but is saved by Arata from falling. Mio apologizes to Arata for the trouble, and the girls head home, where Kyoka arrives and informs Hazuki about Mio's ties to the Yusuba family. Later, Yashiba tells Kyoka about a man who got attacked by an evil spirit and worries that the grotesqueries might enter the imperial capital soon. So they meet with Masashi and Kazushi to discuss the problem. They decide to deploy troops to encircle the imperial capital. Meanwhile, at home, Hazuki reveals that despite having a nice bond with her husband, she didn't get along with his family. This led to her divorcing her husband and respects Mio for trying her best to overcome her weaknesses. At night, Mio joins Kyoka by the balcony, where Kyoka apologizes for his negligence and asks Mio to open more to him about her feelings. In the morning, Mio vows to solve her issues herself when she hears someone at the door, which turns out to be Arata. He says that Kyoka is a terrible husband for neglecting his wife and hands her his contact information before leaving. Later, Arata meets with Kyoka and tells him that he met Mio and doesn't approve of the way he treats her. Later, Kyoka arrives home and notices Mio looking pale, indicating that she's overworking. Mio suddenly faints and Kyoka vows to get rid of Mio's issues by discussing them with Arata. Later, Kyoka and Mio arrive at Arata's place, where he reveals his real name, Arata Yusuba. Arata's grandfather, Yoshiro, arrives and informs them that he's Suma's father. As they go inside, Mio realizes that she's feeling better, which Arata explains is due to the barrier around the house. Yashiro explains that Mio has dream sight, the power to intervene in people's dreams, and says that he knows of a way to rid Mio of her nightmares, but Kyoka must turn Mio over to him. Kyoka refuses to let Mio stay with him, but Arata proposes to duel him for Mio. If Kyoka wins, Arata will teach him the method to control Mio's ability. Kyoka accepts the terms but is beaten by Arata. Mio tries rushing over Kyoka, but Arata transports him away. Meanwhile, Masashi informs Yoshio that they're starting to move in groups to counter the evil spirits and asks Yoshio to contact Kyoka. Later, Kyoka returns home and Hazuki tells him to go back and retrieve Mio. But after contacting Yoshio, Kyoka plans to head to the station instead. Meanwhile, Arata tells Mio that Kyoka is fine and shows Mio a picture of Sumi, informing her that Sumi had telepathic abilities. As for Mio's dream sight powers, as they improve, she will be able to see the past and future through her dreams. Mio wonders why her powers did not awaken until now, and Yoshiro tells her that it is because Sumi sealed them away for good. He explains that few years before she was born, their family was backed by the Tsuruki Trading Company, which carried a massive debt. To alleviate the debt, a marriage proposal involving Sumi and Shinichi was brought to them. Yashiro rejected their offer, but Sumi accepted them, leading to a fight between them. He then takes Mio outside to show her a cherry tree, and Mio touches it to see the past. Shinichi's father reminds his son that he must have a child with Suma, who has the Yusuba's supernatural ability. Sumi gives birth to Mio and realizes that she possesses dream sight, but soon she starts coughing blood and realizes that she doesn't have much time left, so she seals her power to prevent Shinichi from misusing it. Later during a meal, Mio asks Arata if she can speak with Kyoka, but he says he won't allow that as he has waited years to see Mio. Meanwhile, Yashio, Kyoka, and other members defeat the Grotesqueries. Suddenly, one Grotesquerie attacks Yoshido. Kyoka pushes him aside to slay the spirit but gets knocked out unconscious. In the morning, Mio peers into the past again, where she sees Sumi telling her that she loves her. Arata arrives and informs them about Kyoka's injuries, worrying Mio. He tries stopping Mio, but she tells him that she will see Kyoka again no matter what. Arata reveals that he made a deal with the Emperor. The Emperor helps them retrieve Mio, and in exchange, he wants Arata to prevent Mio from telling anyone else about her abilities. But he says he'll allow Mio to see Kyoka, only if he accompanies her. Mio agrees and rushes to Kyoka's aid. Arata suggests that she can use her dream sight to awaken Kyoka from his sleep. Mio lies next to Kyoka as Arata guides her through the dream sight process. She arrives in front of the Saimori estate while Kyoka is still combating spirits in his dream. Mio enters the house and her younger self leads her to a door. Mio opens it and sees a variant of herself. Mio's variant tells her that she's not good enough for Kyoka. Mio acknowledges her failures but persists to meet Kyoka, angering her variant. She tells her variant that she doesn't plan to run away from her problems, causing the variant to disappear. Mio soon arrives at the battlefield and protects Kyoka from spirits. The Emperor arrives at the burial grounds and is informed that a girl from the Yusuba family appeared, so he uses his ability to enhance the spirit's strength in the spiritual world. But his powers are no match for Mio's. The forest lightens up and they awaken from their sleep to everyone's delight. While Yoshio hugs Kyoka, Mio notices Arata leaving and follows him. She thanks Arata for helping her save Kyoka, and that she doesn't plan to return to the Yusuba estate. Prince Takahito speaks with Masashi and informs him that the Emperor has committed a sin by opening the burial grounds, and he plans to make him pay for this. Later, Mio and Kyoka return to their home, where Mio no longer suffers from nightmares. Several days later, the party day arrives. Kyoka is waiting for Mio at the entrance of the party venue. Mio approaches Kyoka, and before they head inside, the two promise to marry each other. That's the end of Season 1 of My Happy Marriage. What do you think about this beautiful show? Feel free to leave your comments and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay fabulous.